Hi, welcome back to our session on color. In our previous session, what we had noticed was how colors could be classified into various categories. We understood what a hue was, we understood what tones were, what shades were, and what tints were. Now we also understood the difference between primary and secondary colors. So today what we are going to do is go a little deeper into understanding how different colors can be paired together. Now taking off from what we learned in our previous session, what we are going to learn is exactly that kind of color pairing, and to help me do that, I have a tool here, a free tool called color.adobe.com. Now typically if you were a painter or somebody who worked in physical media, you would be able to mix the colors and paints by yourself and see. However, we are going to use this easy digital tool. Now the first pairing that we basically know when it comes to color combination is something you're already familiar with. That is hues, tints, shades and tones. Now for any single hue, when you put together its shades, tints and tones, it is called a monochromatic color palette. For example, here what I have is my main hue or my main color is going to be one thing that I select with this larger circle. Now suddenly what I'm going to do is I will drag the other circles in and out accordingly. So this will help me decide how my color palettes are going to be. Over here you can actually notice how each of these rectangles get filled up comparatively. Now to explain to you, you have something called an RGB code here. The difference being that on digital, instead of RYB, they use RGB because green also functions as a primary color in a digital medium. I will explain more of that later, but every color that you see over here has a classification that's also called a hex code. Now let us say you want this particular color. For that you can see a hex code that you can copy and paste into any software and get the exact color replicated. So once again we are here with this particular color. If this orange is our primary hue, then I can vary and alter exactly where I want my hues and shades to be. The inner circle tells me what my shade is. The middle circle tells me what my tint is going to be like. And now by just changing the brightness or by moving that around, I can decide how dark or how light my colors can be. So this way, all of the colors that you see over here are a monochromatic palette. Now, we can also see that or create that in the software that you're already familiar with, which is our Canva. Now you can see a blank screen over here. Now what I'm going to do is just take a rectangle and I will place it as my main color. In order to do that, I will select any one color that is already here. Now what I will do is to create a palette around it. Typically the smart thing to do is, if you have a single color, easily you can select a tone, a shade, a tint and a very light color as a base. So if my highlight color is going to be this particular shade of reddish pink, what I'm going to do is, you can see something called a hue cube over here. Even here you can see a hex code, which is what I mentioned in the color wheel over there. That is also visible over here to get an exact color. Now I'm going to try and create a tint of this. So over here you can see white. Over here at the bottom you can see black. So I have moved this dot very close to the white to create a light pink. Now I want a slightly darker pink. So how I will do that is, from here I will maybe take it a little further, but I want it to be a tone. So I can include a little bit of gray and move it this way. Now what I can also do is take this a little further, and I want a darker color to balance this, which is even darker. So what I can do is, I can decide whether I want it to be a shade of red or I want it to be a tone of red. I want it to be a shade of red. So I will take it here, but this color is too dark. So I'm going to move it a little bit this way so that it is still rich but dark. Now this creates a sufficient contrast. Now I can add one more color if I choose to. I have a tint and a shade. I can now go into a tone, which is a variation of gray. So now with this, I have a basic color palette. This is a monochromatic color palette. So I am going to take this here and call this my monochromatic palette. And that's how we have created this over here. Now let us see the other kind of combinations. We have something called an analogous combination. Analogous combination basically means if you have a central color that you have chosen as your main hue, then all of the colors on the left or the right side of it, which is either taking us to the warmer colors towards the red or towards the greens in this color wheel, are going to be my analogous colors. So I can actually vary how much analogy I want from it. So do I want it to be dark, or do I want it to be white? Do I want it to be bright? These are all things I can decide by just varying the amount of distance between these cubes. And here you can see how dark or light this is. So if I want it to be even lighter, maybe I will actually take this further and further away. Now you can see that the color palette suddenly has changed. So if I want this to be analogous again, I have to change the distance between the colors, because you can see that all these colors are still clashing. So in order to make them look uniform, I'll bring them closer together. Now all these colors are too sharp. So to make one of them work better, I can maybe lighten it or I can darken it. So this way I can take an individual color and I can edit it to make it better. So that's how I can actually create an analogous combination. Let's see how that works here. Now here again, if I take, let us say, color yellow. If I create an element and I have taken the color yellow. Now to create an analogy, basically the color yellow mixes with our reds. It can also mix with our blues. If it mixes with a red, it is giving us oranges of all kinds. So to give my analogical color palette, the first thing I'm going to do is take the simplest orange. Now again, if we go on the other side, it mixes with a blue. So I am going to take a simple green. Now I want to give more variety to this, so I will take a sharper orange that is closer to red, which is over here. Or I can even take a darker green, because it just means that it has more blue mixed into it. Now this is my analogous color palette. It's that simple. Basically you select colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. Now when we go back here, what we can see is something called a triad. How are triads interesting? If you remember, we can actually play with our main colors over here. If you notice, as long as these sliders move, its darkness or lightness is actually decided. Now, since we are again at the analogous colors, now if I suddenly want to make them a triad, it is automatically selecting colors that are opposite. So I want my basic colors to be selected, which is my yellow, then reds, and then blues. These are again my primary colors. If you see, what I move inside is basically a darker version of the same shade. I can also move the same thing inside. Now this is a hue, that is a shade. So accordingly I can start varying my colors. Now when you see all of these colors, they are called a triad because they are triangularly opposite to each other, exactly at 120 degrees. But now I feel that one of these colors can be a little lighter because this entire palette is either too bright or too dark. So I'm going to select one color and I'm just going to lighten it. I will also select this color and I will significantly lighten it. I can even take this further and further inside towards the white to make this color light. Now the brightest colors that you see over here are these three, and along with them you see their shades. So this is basically a triad for the simple reason the colors are triangularly opposite to each other. Let's give it a shot over here. Now if I want to create a triad color palette on my own, what I will do is basically use my shape, and I know that my primary colors are yellow, blue and red. So what I'm going to do is take exactly those colors. I will take my yellow, then I will take a blue, and I will also take a red. Now on their own these colors won't work. In between them we need a bridge. So in order to make that bridge work, what I'm going to do is mix the colors a little or find a medium. So to do that, what I will do is basically from here I have an orange, now the interesting thing about this type of a color palette is that it can actually be varied very greatly. So if I have taken this blue and I want to change it, now I have two light colors and I can also add a dark color to this to give it the depth it needs. But this is going to be too much of a shock. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of grey so that it still goes along in some way with our blue and yellow. So now we have a tone of red that is accompanying these other colors. While this may not necessarily be like the perfect palette, some adjustments can be made based on how you want to make it happen. This is a triad color palette. Now what we are going to look at are our complementary color palette. Complementary colors basically means colors that are at the opposite end of the color wheel, which is, if you remember, we have our primary colors which is red, blue and yellow. Now opposite to each of these colors will be a secondary color. So for red will be the mixture of yellow and blue, which is your green. For yellow it will be the mixture of blue and red, which is your purple. For blue it will be the mixture of red and yellow, which is orange. So for each of these colors, when I want to make a complementary color palette, I will first take my primary color. Primary color is always a hue. So I will take that and I will move it on opposite sides. Let us take orange, let us take yellow and purple. Now I'm going to move this slightly in, and now you'll suddenly notice that this thing is splitting into several colors. So the closer I get to the orange, the closer the purple moves to the blue. So this tells me that orange and blue are still colors that can work together to some extent, even if it's not complete. Now I want to edit this palette. I want to make this color a little richer. So what I will do is take the individual RGB slider and just move it until it comes to a state where I am happy. So now my complementary colors are colors that are directly opposite each other and things that can actually work together. Now there are these basic combinations that you can remember, that whenever you want to work, you can always use them to your advantage. For example, in this I am going to create another palette. So if I have taken a green, which is a very dark green, now I will give its complement, immediate complement, which is going to be a red. Now in between them I need to manage my tints and shades. So how I will do that is, I will take this green and I will give it a tint first. If this is my green, then I'm going to edit it by giving its tone. Now I can also add something like that for our red, right? So if I have taken this red and I'm going to edit it, I can give it a shade which is a light pink. Now suddenly this color palette is starting to look like a bubblegum candy wrapper. Now you will notice that this is equally balanced. There is light and there is dark. Now if I want to have a neutral color to sort of balance all of it out, I can either decide between a red or a green, or I can add both. So what I will do is, I will just create a nice dark gray which is in between both of the colors but will actually balance all of them out. So now this is my complementary color palette. So I have two colors that work with each other. I have their lighter versions and I have a dark version that is in between both of them, which is a gray, to balance all of it out. Now this is how I can create a complementary color palette. Now the important thing for you to understand is to remember how color palettes are basically used. Now let us see if we want to do it with an image. So what we can do is basically drag and drop any image, which is, so let us say I take this image. Now when I upload it, you can see that what it does is it automatically picks out the main colors in this image, and it is also giving me the hex codes of the colors that it finds. So this is how I can find different kinds of color modes. But if I want a brighter color palette, I can change the settings and the same colors will just give me bright colors. Now if I want a muted color palette, which is very soft colors, you will see that these circles tell me where the color has been selected, and now these colors are a little bit duller from the previous. If I want to take a dark color palette, it will take the darkest colors in the group with only one bright color as the complement, because you can't have a completely dark palette. That doesn't make sense. Why? Because colors are always in balance with each other, and typically you have to try and get a good mix so that you can see a good contrast. Now if I were to change my image to something else, let us say I have selected this. Now this is going to give me a monochromatic color palette, because all of these are basically oranges and it's reds. Now if I have to make it muted, then it will select the softest colors in the group, and suddenly you have a blue which is a complement here. This way, if you have any particular image, you can also pick out colors from that image and create a palette for yourself. Why is this important? This is important because when you eventually start dealing with brands, or when you start creating branding, having a uniform color palette or a uniform language is very, very important.